FreeMMOStation.com.
Welcome to FreeMMOStation. We get all the greatest news on free multiplayer online games, and of course, Heroes of the Storm is coming out soon, and yes, that's going to be one of the latest and greatest games by Blizzard. It's a new MOBA, and I'm honestly excited to play it. I'm Skyline Shore, and this is going to be my first impression of Heroes of the Storm. So there's a couple of things that you guys need to know before you start playing Heroes of the Storm. This is going to be a brawling MOBA. It's a subset of MOBA that kind of just focuses on getting into the action. And it kind of detracts from the PvE focus, such as in games like Dota 2 or League of Legends. But other than that, what do we have in Heroes of the Storm that makes it a little bit unique? Well, there's going to be no last hitting. We also have mounts. XP is shared globally between the team, which is a little bit different. Okay, a lot of it different. Towers are going to have ammo, and instead of an item shop, now this is a big component, guys. Instead of having an item shop, each character has their own set of talents that are acquired through the match. Also, unlike competitors, Heroes of the Storm will have a wide selection of maps, and each map will have entirely different objectives. So, Heroes of the Storm, HOTS, starts pretty slow, and some might even say tame, but as you get accustomed to its unique match flow, its unique game flow, pretty much as in any MOBA game, you're gonna begin to see its true potential. So players start with limited access to heroes. That's something that we usually see in free-to-play games, but they even have limited access to their complete talent lists, which is equivalent to something like auto-leveling in Smite, or auto-purchasing items, or maybe even just not being able to purchase certain items in League of Legends. You're truly limited. Not to say that these abilities aren't better or worse or anything, but still, you don't have full access to all of your heroes' abilities. I'm not talking about the QWER abilities, I'm talking about the different passive abilities and talents that you acquire, which replaces the item shop in this game. So players are forced to grind up points to purchase new characters and then level those characters up in order to get their full versatility or potential. Yeah, it's no Dota, but it's not pay to win, not in the least. So this makes learning the game pretty easy, I think, especially for those not accustomed to the MOBA genre. But in the end, it does make for a lackluster first impression for MOBA veterans like myself who want to try all the characters right out of the gate with all their different possible ability combinations. As for roles, we have warriors, we have assassins, and remember guys, there is ranged and melee versions of these, and then we have supports, which pretty obvious, you're very supporty, assassins are very assassiny, but then we have specialists. Now these are a little bit more unique, and this is my favorite type of character in this game because they tend to be played very different from the traditional. And I believe, truly fitting of Heroes of the Storm, which kind of lacks mechanics, this class focuses on strategy. One character just kind of spams and spawns units, so you kind of play it like an RTS. So that's one example. Yeah, on a note about strategy, Heroes of the Storm, it's very important to complete the objectives in the maps, and they're all pretty unique objectives through these maps. It can be, honestly, a dire situation if you just kind of let the enemy trample through the jungle, which there is a jungle and there are bushes in the jungle. Not just because of the unique map objectives, which when you complete these you do get buffs or bonuses, or sometimes they just siege the enemy base. Not only because of that, but also because when you kill mercenary camps, whenever you kill jungle camps, they get added into your lane. You actually get these mercenaries to come follow into your lane, become part of your army, which is actually pretty strong. Factor in the ammo system for towers. Even if it's just an extra body, when that tower runs out of ammo, that's a dead tower. Now you can begin to see how the jungle becomes an incredible, important place for all players, not just like a single role like in League of Legends. For the most part, the point of the game is straightforward. Aggress on the enemy base with more power and speed, then the enemy can do the same to you. Unlike Dota 2, which is really about timing and bursts of damage, where players will actually kill their own lane minions in order to have a safer laning period where the minions are closer to their tower and they gain experience. Heroes of the Storm definitely rewards pushing, kind of like Smite, but at least it's in multiple directions, with the importance of the jungle creeps and also the objectives on the map, and not just forcing down lanes like in Tome Immortal Arena, which can make the game feel a little bit atrocious. But don't get me wrong, Heroes of the Storm is honestly an atrocious game. It really is. It definitely doesn't have the tactics or the depth that Dota does with its map, but at least to a lesser degree thanks to the objectives that it does have on the map and how safe the laning is. There's also a gate that players can safely pass through in their lanes, as well, honestly, very short lanes comparatively to other games. This safety doesn't last forever, but it does stop certain characters or teams just bull churning through defenses, which is definitely a problem that League of Legends had last year. So yeah, if you're new to the MOBA genre, you just might love Heroes of the Storm, love it. Even as an experienced player myself, I have to admit, that's kind of growing on me. I still have a few biases that I can't overlook with this particular title, and maybe some of you are going to feel the same way. It has some performance issues. Now, I'm a little bit hesitant on saying this because it is still in beta, and because of the factor that they have multiple maps that they need to balance out and, you know, improve performance on. But I have to note that the performance issues were actually pretty severe in this game. It doesn't run anywhere near as well as League of Legends, which I run at 120 FPS, or Dota 2 similarly. So, the overall art quality, though, is also not up to par. It just doesn't look as original, as colorful, as it doesn't just pop out as much as League of Legends or Dota 2. It is really honestly not on par with modern MOBA, and it's very comical, but at the same time it kind of lacks a little bit of originality because of the origins of these characters and the universes that they coexist in. It's kind of weird seeing some of these characters and how their models look now compared to their original games. So like Diablo kind of looks, I don't know, chunky and just kind of silly when normally he's a very serious character. So I don't know, it's a little bit disheartening to me. UI is clean though. I love the UI, it's very informative, though I would really love to see custom UI skins for the different universes. So if I'm playing somebody from the Diablo universe, I would like to see a Diablo UI. Similarly for Starcraft and World of Warcraft. But yeah, same goes for mounts. I mean, I think they kind of look silly. Some people probably like that. I know a lot of people have the unicorn mounts. I just ask that we get more to choose from. That's all. In terms of game feel, much like Dawn Gate, the action and movement really doesn't feel that good. You know, honestly, it just doesn't. Every character seems kind of big and bulky compared to the map, and yeah, that's the same for every MOBA, but it's really dramatic, at least in this game and as well previously in Dawn Gate. So the maps overall aren't even that big. They're nowhere near as big as Dota 2's map. So action in this game kind of feels like a mosh pit of, you see, numbers and effects, and team fights, things can get really lost. And already people have felt that same way about League and Dota. Yeah, not many skill shots in this game exist. Most abilities are point and click, though this game does borrow from League of Legends with their attack move fluidity, so there is some mechanics there, but not too much. Dota 2 and League of Legends are both much more mechanical and impactful when it comes to fighting overall, which is something I find a fault, at least in the brawling MOBA subgenre, from Strife all the way to Heroes of the Storm. So it's not entirely unique just to this game, but it's something that I wish was resolved. Honestly, if I wanted to play a MOBA with a huge focus on fighting, I'd want the fights to actually be mechanical, like a fighting game, not the opposite. Here's the Storm, definitely I'm going to consider probably one of the least mechanical games out there. But that's my one true design complaint about the lack of mechanics. That's pretty much it. It still will allow newer players to get used to the controls, and they're going to get used to the game flow faster. It's easier for new players to get into this game. I just think, you know, for veteran players, you might not enjoy this game. In fact, most aspects of the game seem geared toward a casual experience, which is good or bad, depending on how you look at it. Will it be competitive though? That's a big question. To an extent, I honestly think, but it's not going to match League of Legends. It's not going to match Dota. It might not even get up to where Smite is, but in the end, I think Blizzard knows that, and they kind of just want to be the Smash Brothers of MOBA. However, then again, guys, I know, we did see how Smash Brothers ended up being hugely competitive despite not being designed for it, so honestly, we're just going to have to see how the community develops to get a grasp of where Heroes of the Storm will be, if we're going to see giant tournament play, or if it's just going to foster a niche competitive scene. We'll have to find out. Either way, it's honestly a fun game. It has some unique and very interesting design points that I think make it worth trying at least once. So thank you very much, Station, for checking out my first impression. I'm Skyline Shore with FreeMMOStation. Please subscribe, please like if you guys want to see more of this awesome stuff coming out. And yeah, there are some really cool games that we're excited to show off. Yeah, stay tuned for that. And hopefully, we'll see you again later.